Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 10 of The Game Changers. Thank you for joining us tonight. Episode 10. Are you kidding me? I still can't believe, last week was episode 9, and I was like, I can't believe it's episode 9. But guess what? I still can't believe it's episode 10. This has just been such a great experience. If you've never joined us before, please give us a like. Hop out of the video, give us a like, give us a subscribe. That really helps us, and hopefully the TSA won't fire us if people are watching. So we appreciate that. JC, Iggy, the crew, everyone at TSA, we always like to give our thanks to them for allowing us to have this platform to talk to people in the industry, maybe not even in the industry, just people that we've, met. But how lucky are we to have this? So, speaking of wonderful guests, Carla, would you like to introduce our guest tonight?
Of course. How are you tonight, Wendi? How are you, Stacy?
Great.
Hi,
Good.
everyone. Tonight we have a redheaded twin. Just saying, which I I didn't remember even her name last week, so I'm so sorry, Stacy.
Totally okay.
What can we say about Miss Stacy? The lawyer, the fantasy football analyst with Fantasy and Frames, the NFL agent. Well, I can't wait to learn more about our game changer for tonight. I hope everyone is feeling the same. Let's hit it. How are you tonight, Stacy?
I am so good. Thank you guys so much for having me. I didn't realize this was your 10th episode till I got your sheet tonight. It said week 10. And that's my favorite number. So how, what a coincidence. How perfect.
You were meant to be here. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Thank you guys so much for having me though. I can't wait. This is gonna be a great time. I just you guys are just like friends, just hanging out, talking with friends. So I'm so excited that you wanted to have me on.
And we're glad that you feel like that. That's kind of our goal. I told you in the chat before, I'm like, yeah, we don't want stats, we don't want your rankings, we want you. We want to get to know you. So I read your very impressive bio. Okay. I was blown away. I mean, I knew a little bit about you because, I've met you before and I've kind of, checked around, but I'm not sure if other people know these things. So I have to bring these to everyone's attention. So you're a Tampa native.
Yes.
University of South Florida for your undergrad.
Both.
Stetson University College of Law for law school.
Yes.
So Stacy's a lawyer.
You're guilty.
So you've been an attorney for 13 years.
Yes.
What kind of cases do you handle?
So, 13 years, and I mean, it's amazing because I'm only 23, right? So
Funny how that works.
Yeah, right. So I actually do family law cases. So, dealing with a lot of kind of really emotional stuff, during the day, a lot of, divorces and custody issues and that kind of thing. That is mostly what I handle. I do a couple other things here and there. But that's the main part of my practice.
So are you a sole practitioner? You have your own practice? That's it?
Yeah. So about 5 years ago, I decided I was working with another attorney at the time, and I was like, I can do this on my own. I don't need to, be paying anybody else to, practice, giving somebody part of what I'm bringing in. So I went out on my own, and honestly, best thing I ever did. It's just the flexibility, being your own boss is just, I don't want to be accountable to, anybody else. I like doing my own thing, making my own schedule, that kind of stuff, and just being responsible for me. So like I said, best decision that I ever made.
So how do you handle, I'm sure you go to court a lot, obviously. So how do you get your rankings done? What if you have a big case going on?
Oh my gosh, so much stress. I try to limit the amount of crazy, I'm going to call it, that I have going on. Sometimes you can't help it. But I try to stay as far away from the crazy as possible. But here's the deal. It's I'm not married. I don't have kids. So I'll come home and work on my rankings, that kind of thing, and do it then. So I have a lot of time for me. So that's probably the best answer about how I actually get everything done, day to day with whether it's work or whether it's fantasy football or anything else.
Well, I'm just so impressed. Like, I'm just like, this is super Stacy. I mean, I'm thinking, how can she do all this stuff? So, I can't even. So, Carla, please talk.
So talking about law and everything, I wanna talk more about the NFL agent thing.
Ooh, okay.
How
Yeah.
much experience do you have as NFL agent? Can you share with us a little bit
Absolutely
about that?
zero. Absolutely zero experience. I am a brand new baby agent. I just got certified in October. Was when I, became official. I have a cousin of mine. He's second cousin, Farrell Elliott, and he is an agent. He's been an agent for 30 plus years, and so the last couple years he's been like, Stacy, you really need to take the exam. You can do it. Just do it. Like, stop making excuses. Just do it. And finally, this year, he talked me into it. And back in January, I filled out the application. You go online to the NFLPA's website, fill out an application, send them just obscene amount of money, and they go through, do a background check, make sure you're on the up and up, and then they tell you you are able to take their exam in July. And so, study the whole, summer and everything to prepare for that and get ready for that. Like my hair is definitely not naturally red. It is probably would be gray at this point, like after all of that. But and then I passed, thankfully. And then on
Was it
October
as hard as the bar exam, Stacy?
You took it
uh,
out of him one day.
I'm gonna say no. But it was difficult, just because when I took the bar, this was, gosh, like probably 14 years ago now that I took the bar. And at the time, you're not working, you don't have like a real job yet. Your job is just right. So you're spending 10 hours a day at the library setting. Like, now I have a real job. Like, I can't, kind of like put anything off on anybody else. I've kind of got to run my real job business, do the fantasy football stuff, and then still find time to study. So I used a prep course that was amazing. And that I know that's the reason why I passed. Otherwise, if I had just been left to my own devices trying to get through the collective bargaining agreement and all the other materials that they send you, I would have been just completely lost. But yeah, I'd probably say the bar is probably harder. There's just a lot more to learn. But the agent exam definitely has its own challenges, especially since it's been so long since I actually took an exam like that. So I had to remember how to study.
That's
Well,
nice.
Carla's a teacher. She could have probably helped you there.
If I'd known that back then.
So what's next
We
with
give you
that?
a
So
cheat
yeah,
All right.
no cheating, Carla.
a cheat sheet on the side, Stacy.
All right.
Just between us.
Exactly.
Well,
Yes.
she paid a lot of money, Wendy. Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
Give
is
me
true.
the
This is
a
true.
little bit.
So
A side job.
what comes next with being an NFL agent then?
Yeah. So like I said, I'm working with my cousin. He's kind of showing me the ropes and everything and how to get started and learning about, recruiting and all that kind of stuff, and like, actually finding players, that want you to represent them. And then what do you do once you get somebody who wants you to do that for them? And so just really kind of learning from him, kind of like I said, just kind of learning how to recruit, learning how to scout, that kind of stuff, and just kind of getting all of that information, so that if we get to that point where I've got somebody to work with, I actually know what I'm doing. So it's a slow process for me. So we're fortunate enough to be able to, just kind of take this on full time and make that our full time job. Not there yet. Hopefully one day that's the plan, to kind of transition over into doing that full time, and hopefully that'll come. But I just think it's one of those things where it just kind of takes time, learning the ropes, really getting to that, industry, coming from somewhere so completely different than, what I hope to be doing.
So do you get like a little card and you can get into like the NFL draft and all that? Hey, I'm an agent.
We have a card, actually. If we go on the PA website, we log in. Yeah, I don't think I heard that they used to mail one to you. I don't think they do that anymore. I think it's just virtual, but
Oh, I would want the real thing. You earn that.
oh, I totally would. Like, the bar sends us a card that we, get to flash everywhere and get in the, the fast security lane at the courthouse. But
I'd be at the grocery store. Excuse me, I'm an attorney. I'm going to need to go first.
Get the
I gotta
flash.
go.
That's a
Yeah.
weird way to say Stacy.
Oh, that's so funny. That is so cool though. So like your cousin really helped you a lot with that, having him, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean, I would have never even thought to like do something like that had it not been for him. I mean, it's a tough field to get into, especially if you don't know anybody, you don't have a support system. You
And
know,
probably especially being a woman.
100% that too. And I mean, now's a great time if you know, are a woman and want to get into sports, NFL, any of that kind of stuff. Now's the best time to do it than it's probably ever been. Um, but yeah, I mean, and not having any of that, I don't think that I would have ever really even considered something like that. But just having, you know, him being so encouraging and saying, you know, look, you can do this. You know, like let's, you know, and just having talked to him and kind of about my career and the field that I'm in, it's um, you know, it's very emotional, like dealing with family law cases, right? So, I just the last couple of years, I've kind of just been thinking to myself, look, do I really want to do this for the next 20 years? You know, just the emotional toll that it takes on you, you know, every day, because you're really, I'm working with my clients in the worst time of their lives, right? It's probably one of the worst thing that's ever going to happen to them. So it's definitely just really draining. So, you know, trying to maybe transition into a field where I can help somebody reach a career goal, you know, they've worked for their entire life, I think would be a little bit more fulfilling and satisfying than, you know, arguing about, you know, who's getting which, you know, piece of, you know, like decoration or furniture or whatever it might be.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Will you be presenting multiple players going into the draft?
Oh my gosh, I would, that's the dream, right? I mean, oh my goodness, if I could do that, that would, I think that would just be it. Like, I think I'd probably just have to retire at that point because I would have, you know, like done the best.
We got 5 contracts. I'm done.
Yeah, right. Just tap out, be like, that's it, we're done. That, I mean, that would really be the dream is to get a player that, you know, gets drafted. You know, whether it's the first round or the seventh round, whatever it might be. But yeah, that's definitely the goal is to have multiple guys and you know, hopefully that comes true sometime, you know, sooner rather than later.
So will you be going to like some college games where you're at and stuff to kind of scout
Yeah.
people?
I need to be better about that. I really haven't been lately. But I definitely need to be more into college football. You know, I can just tell you right now, I am not a college football fan.
I can't
I
stand it,
yeah,
Stacy. I can't
no.
stand watching it.
Oh my gosh. So like I did go to USF, South Florida, and you know, I'm in the state of Florida, right? You've got Miami, you've got Florida State, you got, you know, University of Florida. So there's so many other schools. And when I went to school, we had just gotten our football team. So it wasn't a big deal. Like I didn't go to school in that environment where you went to a big college game, you know, every week and that kind of thing. It just never really I never really got into it. And so now I'm like having to force myself to get
You're not gonna have a choice.
yeah,
I'm
exactly. I'm
learning
like,
a lot.
well,
I love
now
college football right now.
it's so, I
Yeah.
mean, it's fascinating. I think I just need a team, really. I mean, I think I just need a team to root
Oh,
for.
you have to.
Week.
Me and Wendy.
Yeah, that's it.
We can co-pilot with you if you want to, Stacey.
Yes. We'll just find a team. Maybe somebody in the chat. Give me a good team to root for. Who's somebody fun? You know, not universally hated. I will just say, I definitely could see myself being a fan of Notre Dame as long as they've
I
got that.
was just gonna say, I live in Indiana, and I'm probably about an hour and a half from Notre Dame. But you know that's
Really?
a little controversial, and not everybody likes either you love them or you hate them with Notre Dame. So, but
Right?
I
It is.
would be on there. So when you started playing fantasy, like how did that happen for you?
Oh
Dave
my
is
God.
recommending Boise State.
Boise State. Oh yeah, so they have the blue field, right? That's the team with the blue
Oh
field.
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's the team with the blue field. Dave, sure if I'm wrong, Dave will let us know. Um,
He's booing Notre Dame. I know it.
oh, Notre Dame. That's okay. It's really not the Notre Dame thing I like. Is their quarterback is quite the draw for that team. If you guys know, you know. I'm gonna go give that a nice little Google search, ladies. But to answer your question, how did I get into fantasy football? So back when I was a kid, my dad, I was like 12, and my dad was like, we're gonna play fantasy football, some of his friends. And so he like gave me like a magazine to look at. You know, this is the how long this was. to kind of learn about all the players and all that kind of stuff. And so, you do the draft, it's live. And back in those days, like you would call in your lineup to the commissioner every week.
Isn't that great? I love that.
God, you had to like look in the newspaper to get the box score to figure out your points. So I don't remember anything else about this team other than we had the first pick overall and we took Brett Favre. And
that explains a lot.
Exactly. So like being from Tampa, like when you would think I like the Bucks, my dad was a huge Bucks fan.
I was going to say, wasn't Dad a Bucks fan?
I don't know if you can see him. I've got some Bucks of his old Bucks hats right up here, hanging out with me. Cool. But yeah, so that's how I ended up being a Packer fan, just like watching a lot of their games, trying to keep up with them and seeing all what they did. And so it just kind of stuck. And here I am, with a Go Pack Go banner behind me.
So your dad got you started. That is such a cool story.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, that was the only year we played, and then I picked it up a few years later again, when I got older, just playing with some friends casually. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of my first little, like dipping the toes in the water there for fantasy.
And your big thing you had talked about, I had seen, was the first high stakes tournament for you, right?
Yeah. So, I, like I said, played a few years with some friends, just real casually, played with some work colleagues, that kind of stuff, like the ESPN leagues and the Yahoo leagues. And then, like I said, cousin Farrell makes an appearance here again. And he is the commissioner. Yeah, he's commissioner of the Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship in Louisville, Kentucky. And so that's his like other job. But, it's like, hey, you should come up and play. We do this draft weekend in Louisville at the end of August every year. It's a whole weekend. We do it at a casino. I think you'd have a really good time. And Crispy in the chat. What's up, Crispy? That's from Fantasy and Frames. Go Bulls. He is a big South Florida fan down there. But yeah, so he just caught me like right at the moment. I was just completely, this is gonna sound a little weird, but I had just gone through a breakup and I was kind of looking for like things to do to fill my time. And so, he said, come on up to Louisville in August. And I was like, okay, sure.
How cool.
So go up there. And I had no idea what to expect. No clue. I'd never done anything like that. I always told him like, no, I don't want to play in your league. It's too expensive. I don't want to spend that kind of money. And so I get up there and it is literally a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day, different drafts going on. Every couple hours, there's a new draft going on. Different kinds of formats. Like the first time I ever did a best ball draft was there, and I had no clue what to expect with that at all. Like it was 28 rounds. I'm like drafting players I don't even know exist anymore. Like, are they even in the league? I have no idea. But it just like, I met so many nice people there, and just like, I just kind of felt like this is my tribe. These are my people, these are people that enjoy fantasy the way I enjoy fantasy. And are, as committed to it as I am. And so that was 2019. And ever since then, I've just kind of been hooked.
And you still play in that?
Yeah. These
cool.
there.
Ooh, look at that. Got some hardware back there, girl.
Oh yeah. So, and I actually 2 years ago, ended up meeting a really good friend of mine, Jim Bednar, and he and I have teamed up the last couple years, in our high stakes leagues. And, I've just kind of, made ourselves a little team there, and he's out in California. But, just all the friendships like that, like I've made through there and through the whole fantasy football community. I mean, just so many people that I would never have met otherwise. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Like Carla.
Yeah. Like you and Carla.
Did you guys get to meet at the expo?
I don't think we did. Did we, Carla? I don't know. I don't think
we crossed. I think we crossed, but yeah, we saw each other, but we never like spoke or talked or anything. But we should next year. We should.
We will. 100%. We will.
Oh my God, we should. And especially that like Tootsie is doing this like women like get together. I can't wait for us to all meet up and just take like a picture for all of us. I can. This is something that I'm waiting for this year. And Wendi is going to talk a lot about it later, but It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait for that. Talking a little bit about fantasy football, I want to ask, as a woman, what are some of the challenges that you faced when you first started in fantasy football?
I think the biggest challenge, and I'll just say, because I know everybody's story is different, and I know a lot of other women have had to deal with a lot of things that fortunately I've not had to deal with. And I think I'm going to just credit all that to the group that I, do my content through Fantasy and Frames, is that they could not be more supportive group. Period. Those guys and girls are amazing. So I think the biggest challenge for me is really just something internally, and just, kind of that like imposter syndrome, right? That, we all kind of like talk about, and just kind of feeling like, okay, like, am I actually qualified to do this? Like, why would anybody want to listen to what I have to say about fantasy football? And then, you go out there and you do all your research and you think you have a really good take, and then it just completely bombs and it doesn't work out. Jahan Dotson, talking to you, buddy. Like, I plan on that guy from day one, and
he screwed you.
Big old bagel for this past week. Not the first time that's happened this week, or this season. But just like kind of dealing with those kind of feelings, and like realizing, look, no, like you're researching, you're doing your, putting in the effort, just kind of like pushing out all those negative thoughts, internally, that kind of tend to creep in and make you doubt yourself.
Would you tell women to just go for it for fantasy football, or would you tell them to just not like
do it? Totally do it. I mean, like I said, just
like someone like me, between yes and no, what would you tell me to do?
Like, do content or play, or I mean, both. Honestly, I would say both. We definitely need more women in fantasy football, 100%. But even just like, creating content and getting out there and doing it. I mean, when I decided to kind of got my, start in doing content creation, it was really just on a total whim. I saw a post that, Zach from Fantasy and Frames had posted in our Scott Fishbowl chat, saying that, they were looking for content creators, and, they would help give you, you didn't need to have any experience, that kind of thing. And honestly, like, it just kind of caught me at a time, and I was like, what, that sounds like fun. Let's see where this goes. And, so I would definitely encourage anybody to get in. If you're passionate about this area, or really anything, do it. What else are you kind of waiting for? Just, I just think a lot of times too, I think you get to a certain age, right? And you kind of start thinking like, if I enjoy something, I'm going to do it, instead of sitting around waiting for something else to happen, just regretting, I don't want to look back and regret not having taken a chance and done something that I might really enjoy, and who knows where it's going to take me.
Yeah. That's a great advice.
I love that. Because it's like, that's kind of what we're doing. Just because I guess it's considered creating content, what we're doing here. Who knew? Okay, I didn't know this. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to talk to people. I love these people. They are my people. I was like, I'm not a content creator. So I guess in one sense I am, but to do what you do, I mean, all of that research and your stuff is on point, girl.
Thank you. I think that's the lawyer part coming in, right? Because we're like trained, to like really dig in and our research and everything. And it's so funny, like the whole year, like I've really just found different moments where my lawyer training has really kind of come in and really helped, with my fantasy football, with whether it's my research or whether it's writing and putting together, an article, that kind of stuff. And really even just feeling comfortable talking to people. I mean, I literally sit, and now it's on Zoom because, ever since COVID, everything is on Zoom. So most of my hearings are on Zoom. So this is what I'm doing all day long, is sitting, on a computer, talking to people, that kind of thing. So just feeling comfortable in that arena. All of those, skills that I would have never thought, like, okay, lawyer skills translates to, fantasy football, analyst skills. But there are really so many that really have. So just, I don't even know where I was going with that, but
do you watch yourself after your show is over? Do you go back and watch?
I hate watching myself.
I can't do it. I get so upset. I'm like, oh no, oh my God, this is terrible. This is terrible.
Oh yeah, I looked at one today. We did our pregame show on Sundays, and I was rewatching that, And I have my second computer set over here to the side, to put all my notes on and everything on my research. And I was watching myself looking at the computer and it felt like forever. And I was like, what are you doing? Like over there, you stupid stuff.
That's so funny because I noticed I like blink a lot. I'm like, why am I blinking so much? So I can't watch it. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it because I'll just quit. Okay.
I'm better. I still don't like listening to myself, but I much prefer listening than watching.
So what do you think, Carla? I know you have more questions for our lovely guest here.
I always have more questions. Have you thought about giving up playing fantasy football, Stacy?
Like every week.
And why?
Oh my gosh, like you'll have like, I was looking at my teams today. So Jim and I usually on Tuesdays kind of go through a review of the week and how everything shook out and what teams are still in contention, what teams are not. And just looking at all my teams and saying, okay, all right, this team's on life support. It's going to need a miracle to make it in the playoffs this week, or this team's doing okay. Like we don't really need to mess with this team, or like, oh my God, what were we thinking? Putting in this player or this player, just I think that kind of stuff goes through every week. You're just like, why do I do this to myself? And then by the time next week rolls around, you're ready to go again. So
I know.
Well, I think I really like playing best ball. I really hadn't really done much of that until last year. And so I got more of that this year. That whole set it and forget it, that's the way to do it. And I'm in so many leagues, and you always say you're going to cut back, right, Stacey?
Oh, yeah, it never happens. It's always
not going to do as many, manage leagues at least, but you still do more.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like finally I just and I listen to Jeff Ratcliffe. I always give him the shout out for this because he's like, you know what, when the games start, put your phone down, don't look at the scores, and enjoy the games.
Yeah.
And that's what I started doing. And it's just Sundays are glorious. I cannot be happier on Sundays when football's on. I'm sorry.
No, it's so nice. I try to really be good about that too and not check my phone, until at least like the first games are almost over. And then I help myself. I like to see where things are. And, and then I always scroll through Twitter and see what everybody's saying about all the different games and, that kind of stuff. But Wendy, I'm just like, I really try to just, enjoy the day, enjoy the game. That's why we do this, right? Because we love football. So watch the football. We only have so many weeks of it left.
Right. 7 hours of commercial-free football is what I live for on Sundays.
That's the best words that it's the best words I'm going to hear every day.
We have to get Scott Hansen on the show.
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness.
How did you feel about yesterday's game? I know that you love the Bills, right? As well.
No, so I'm a Packer fan. I
know you're a Packer fan. But I saw something they were saying Bills or something like that in one of the comments.
Oh, I don't know now. I'll have to go back and look. That game yesterday was terrible. My gosh. I actually went to bed.
I thought the Bills would win yesterday. And I'm in shock. Honestly, I'm in shock.
When I saw I think it was 3-0, and I was like, oh no, is this gonna be? I was like, should I have fun on the Broncos?
Yeah, it was not very good. Not very good for fantasy purposes, especially.
Oh gosh, yeah. Although Dalton Kincaid helped me out with that touchdown, that was nice.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too.
So,
you know what? Have you ever played in a guillotine?
No, I want to though.
Do it. Oh my God, I loved it. That was one of my favorite formats this year. And I'm in the final for my division this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so awesome. I'm super excited about that. I did notice you mentioned Scott Fishbowl a little bit ago. So I kind of want to talk about that. How is your team doing?
So my team started off, I thought my team was great right off the bat. I was like, okay, this is
everyone thinks that.
Oh yeah, and then it just tanked. I mean, it was terrible. Somehow I looked at it today, and somehow I am in 4th place in my division, and I do not know how that happened.
Hey, that's awesome! I'm in last.
I think if I win this coming week, I think I can sneak into the playoffs.
Oh, that's awesome! Is this your first year playing?
this is my third year playing.
Oh, okay.
So the first 2 years, my teams did pretty well. Like got, into the playoffs. Went, I can't remember exactly how far it went into the playoffs, but did well. Last year, I'll tell you what got me was Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. I had that little stat going, and towards the end of the season, I don't remember if you guys remember, but Josh Allen gets hurt, and then it's Colts that are not throwing as much, they're running more, and that just like tanked my
you.
But this year I stayed away from that, and I've got the Hurts stack there, going with my Eagles, or with the Eagles, or not my Eagles. But yeah, so hopefully can kind of make a comeback, and maybe some guys are going to pick up some steam, fingers crossed.
I can tell you, I am not making the playoffs.
Oh, and shout out to the division. Those are my guys. That's my team. We did the live draft in Orlando.
Oh yeah, that would be so much fun. I actually went to the live draft in Chicago this year. It was really in Schaumburg, but it's the Chicago division, and Andy Behrens is in our division, and Jim Coventry, and I mean, nicest guys ever. Jim's going to be on the show pretty soon, right, Carla?
So yes, I can't wait.
yeah, we had a lot of fun that day. They were great. But isn't that is the live draft where you met the Fantasy and Frames guys at?
Yeah. So last year, this was the first year they did the live drafts. Went to Orlando. I just kind of got it in my head. I was like, I need to meet more people in fantasy football. So I live in Tampa. Orlando's about an hour and a half away, depending on traffic. And so I was just like, what, I'm doing it. And I don't know what got into me that way, but I did. So I go over there. Awesome. I didn't know anybody. And the first person I'll tell you who is so nice and so welcoming was Joey Wright.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just a shout out to Joey. Joey's just one of my favorite people, just not even just in fantasy, just in general, just such a positive outlook on like everything. So met Joey, met Zach, also Zach Berger from Fantasy and Frames. We were all in that league together, and then January rolls around, and we all kind of have, I'm sure every division has like the group chat, like on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So, Zach had posted that, Fantasy and Frames looking for new content creators, want to expand, want to grow. And it just happened to be a day when I was kind of like, I need something positive to going on, So I was like, you know what? I'm going to respond. And so I just was like, hey, I would be interested. And so Zach and I chatted, and then he connected me with Jorge Edwards, who started Fantasy and Frames. And then like in 2 weeks, Jorge is telling me like, okay, so we're going to put you on this Dynasty podcast. And I was like, I have one Dynasty team, Jorge, and it's terrible. Awesome. Not a good idea. I've outed myself here with Dynasty, but yeah, and it just kind of like just went from there. And like I said, I could not have ended up with a better group of people.
Well, it seems to be a theme too. I don't know if Scott Fish realizes this, but what he's done for the community to, connect all of us. That's how I started when I got the Scott Fish Bowl thing. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't go to the live draft the first year, but because I was not ready. I knew I wasn't ready. I'm like, they will eat me alive, and they still ate me alive this year. Okay. But it was really fun, and I'm so glad I went. And I actually want to go to the Vegas one. I'm seeing if Scott Franco can hook me up.
That would be amazing. So when you were just talking about connecting people through there, it just reminded me that Orlando draft that we just did this past year, there were 5 of us from Fantasy and Frames in those, because there were 3 live drafts altogether, and there were 5 of us in that group. And so none of us had met before. Zach and I had met, but the rest of us really hadn't met each other. So in addition to like coming in down and doing the draft, we're all getting to meet. And so we all like hung out, went to dinner afterwards. And some of us just decided to like stay over in Orlando, to hang out and just really kind of just get to know one another better. And that is probably one of my favorite memories from this year.
That's huge. It is. It's huge what he's done. So absolutely. Yeah, that's how I met a lot of my friends in this space. So, but yeah, what do you think, Carla? You gonna try for the Scott Fish Bowl next year?
I don't know. I'm scared.
No, you have to do it. You have to do it.
It's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot to juggle. Like I'm looking at Doug, how he does his stuff, And I'm like, oh my God. And he have two separate like spaces, and it's a lot. I'm still a baby in this. So I hear Wendy, I hear Stacy, I hear every single host we have. It's a lot to juggle. I'm still not there. Not there yet.
We'll
But
get
maybe
you
one day.
there.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys will get me there, definitely.
I
But
will.
yeah, I'm still a baby in this stuff. I'm baby steps, baby steps. Maybe
All we
one
can
day,
ask. That's all we can ask.
maybe one day. I'm still not into it yet. But I'm into sports, which is good. But yeah, not in fantasy football yet. But who knows?
You have no choice. You have no choice in the matter.
Yeah, you probably do better than all the rest of us. Like that's how it works. Right?
True.
Maybe
Yeah.
win some trophies like Stacy did one day.
Exactly. So
I love them.
I would like to talk about the expo a little because, like, how can you not talk about the expo when we're on this space? So,
Look at this.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I know you were at Draft Night Out. You went to Draft Night Out. That's where I met you, and I was like such a fangirl. You must have thought, man, this woman is nuts.
No.
I saw her from across the room, Carla, and I was like, oh my God, that's Stacy Perez. I'm going to go introduce myself. And I'm just rambling on, and she was so nice, so nice. And even though she probably thought it was completely crazy,
No,
but
I did not think that at all. I was just so like, wow, like that when you came up to me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the coolest thing ever. Like like just somebody wants to come talk to me. Like that's amazing.
well, I think
everybody.
and Carla and I guess you could say we're content consumers more than anything.
Mhm.
And followers and things like that. And, I really liked your style. And I'm like, she is a strong ass woman. I'm going to go meet her. And that's the thing about the expo is everyone is so accessible. Nobody's really off limits. I mean, everyone that's there was so great. And I would say probably my one regret was not meeting Carla, but next year.
Even though I'm a redheaded too.
We're gonna be easy to find, Carla.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. I'm going to have to dye my hair now. Gosh dang
yes,
it.
you should. Wendy was my favorite at the
JC.
expo. My best friend. Look at that, JC. Oh my
You know what? There was a circle full of people, and I'm sure that everyone feels this way, but there was a circle of people that I was not leaving Canton, Ohio without meeting these people.
Yes.
And JC was right up there. So, he's done a lot for us. So, yeah, we really appreciate it.
I can't wait next year to meet all of
Carla,
them.
tell Stacy about the Zumba class.
Ooh.
Yes, we're having Zumba class next year at the expo, Stacy. Are you gonna be part of it?
Well, listen, I have zero rhythm. So if you can tolerate that in your Zumba class, I will happily join you.
Listen, I tell people just come, unwind, like Tootsie always tell, just unwind. We come, we have fun, we can bring wine with us and just enjoy our time.
Wait, isn't this going to be at like 8 o'clock in the morning? Oh, that's okay. It's the expo.
Well,
it's
fine. 4 o'clock somewhere, Wendy.
It's fine. And Dave, you are right. He is fantastic. So
we're bringing, we're gonna bring Zumba. We spoke with Bob, and we had Bob like a month ago, I think, right, Wendy?
Yeah.
We had him, and we were talking about Zumba, and we might bring Zumba at the expo. It's gonna be really amazing. So we're gonna bring it. So much fun. Yeah, we're bringing more stuff for women. But it's not just for women; it's gonna be for both.
Oh, wait a minute, Howard Bender said he would consider coming.
Men, both sexes, which is gonna be great.
So how do you feel, Stacy, that social media has changed fantasy football? Because I had a Twitter account since 2010. I never used it, never. So Carla's guilty too.
Same. I mean, that's the whole reason I got a Twitter account. Back in the day, I don't even remember when, but so I could keep up with my players and see who was going to be playing, if there was going to be any last minute, inactives, that kind of thing. Like that was the whole reason I got Twitter. And then now, like, that's my entire Twitter feed is fantasy football. There's some baseball, there's a little bit of hockey on there, but pretty much it is completely fantasy football. That's like all that's on there. I go to that multiple times a day just to kind of check up on everything, see what the latest news is, see what everybody else is doing and talking about. And I think it's just really I think it's brought a ton of people together. It's made I think I have more fantasy football, like I'm connected with more people for fantasy football on Twitter than I am on anything else. And then two, it's just got so much information, and it's made so much more information accessible too, for people. And, you can put your content on there. It's people can find it easily, that kind of thing. So, I think it's just completely changed the way that people participate in fantasy football.
Do you have all the platforms? Do you have Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat? Do you have all of them?
I don't have Snapchat. I do have TikTok, begrudgingly. And then I got onto TikTok and was just kind of like a lurker, like in the background, like just like looking at people's posts.
I am not going down that rabbit hole. I don't have TikTok. I can't do it.
Oh, please do though. It's it is such an amazing way to time. It really is. I love it.
Do it.
Just in general, there's a ton of ridiculous stuff, but it's a good time. But yeah, Instagram, the Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff.
It's fun, Wendi. You should do TikTok too.
I can't.
Listen, Jim has TikTok. So.
I don't care. You know what? I did watch Jim did a TikTok video with me from the Chicago Live Draft, and I did watch that, and of course I hated it because I had to watch myself. And I'm like, no, this is everyone can see this is terrible.
No, you don't. I'm sure you look beautiful and amazing. No. Stop it.
Well, thank you, but I'm not doing it.
Stacy, I have a question for you. Okay. If you could start a business tomorrow, what would that business be?
Oh my gosh. If it's a business, I was thinking about this question because I saw it on the sheet. And would I say something sports related? Sure. But you know what I was thinking actually? Like one of those businesses with something just really random that is used everywhere, like those, what is it, like the street barricades that people use like on the on the interstate, right? That all probably come from the same place. And the guy's making millions of dollars, just, pumping out all these like barricades and road signs and whatnot. I think that would be, I would love to start some sort of business like that. It's kind of like with those things that you think you're like, why didn't I think of that? Like I wanted those ideas, right? And then I could just have $1 bajillion and play fantasy football, every day, all day. And that would be my life stream, is to be independently wealthy somehow. And then I could just like throw my money away at fantasy football.
You wouldn't even have to be good at fantasy football because you'd have millions of dollars. So
I just do whatever I want.
So she will do the business, so she will have the Super Bowl.
There you go. Yes.
Winner, JC.
Yeah, so much money I can buy my own NFL team. If anybody knows what that is, let me know.
We will stay with the Super Bowl stuff, Wendi.
So who are some of the women in the industry that you've kind of looked up to?
So as far as like fantasy football goes, I'm going to say one, Stefania Bell from.
She's awesome. Yeah.
Huge. Like when I was started like listening to fantasy football podcast, the one through ESPN with her and Matthew Berry and Field Yates, that was the first one that I ever listened to. And I just love that. I still listen to her stuff today. Like just, just wonderful, just so much information and just, I don't know, such a just thoughtful, considerate, just crazy smart,
She's so smart, so smart.
Like whatever, she could tell me that the sky is purple and I would be like, yep, the sky's purple, but the mine said it was.
And she's right.
And she would be right. But yeah, her definitely. She's one. I really enjoy Mina Kimes' content. Really like her. It's just I feel like I'm smarter every time that I listen to her talk about football. And also to somebody else that I've really kind of looked up to and kind of like going down the agent path is I don't know if you guys are familiar with her, but her name is Nicole Lynn. She represents Brees Hall, Bijan Robinson. She's like one of the first women to have like a top 10 draft pick, first round, that kind of stuff. Like she's just amazing. She's Clutch Sports is the agency where she works. And I've just kind of like followed her career. I've, read some of her, she's got a book out, read that, and just really follow her everywhere on social media. But somebody just that, I kind of decided when I wanted to go down that path that I really would like to emulate my career after hers and just kind of, just watching and seeing everything that she's doing out there and just how she's like trailblazing, just making all sorts of, deal like Jalen Hurts. She represents Jalen Hurts. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys
Pretty
know
major.
when he signed that deal, she was like, I don't know how far she was like in her third trimester of like being pregnant, like just absolutely crushing everything that she does. So just, if I could ever, just even get 5 minutes of her time, I would just be over the moon. But yeah, I think I want to say those three are definitely ones that come to mind. I know there's others out there, but we'd probably be here all night talking about other women that we enjoy listening to their content and everything. But those are probably
there's so many amazing ones.
Exactly.
Have you gone to any of Rachel Tootsie Pop? Have you gone to any of the women's nights there on Friday or Saturday, whichever night they?
Yeah, shout out Rachel. I saw her in the chat earlier.
Yeah,
Rachel's
great.
awesome. I didn't get to go to this last one, but I went to the first one a couple months ago, and then I will definitely be there on Friday at Friendsgiving.
Yes.
If there's anybody that wants to join, make sure that you reach out to Rachel Tootsie Pop. She'll send you the link. And I know I was out of town the last time they had it. I was so mad. I'm like, I was actually at the airport and I thought about, you know what? Because our plane got delayed, we're coming back from Texas. I'm like, I could probably hop on.
I was at a hockey game, and it was the night before I was leaving to go out of town. So I just had like 1,000 things to do. But yeah, I was really bummed that I missed the last one.
Yeah, that's how I actually met you, Stacy.
Yeah,
the first one. Yeah.
Look at that, Tootsie Pop bringing people together.
Love it.
Oh, we love you.
Yes.
Yes.
And Stefania Bell and her are like this. They're like this.
When I saw Stefania Bell pop on that first one, I was like, oh my God.
Rock stars.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, like it popped up with her name on the screen first before her picture popped up, and I was like, oh, that's funny. Somebody's put their name as Stefania Bell. That's cute, haha. And then it was her, and then her picture popped up, and I was like, oh, I was trying not to fangirl.
We're having people on the show because of that, like we're connecting, and we're having lots of people. We are connecting on so many levels. Thanks to people like you, like Tootsie, like Wendi. Wendi have lots of connections as well. And I can't be more thankful for that. Like you women are you are game changers, which is awesome. And I love you guys for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just met so many wonderful women, and I am really, really thankful for Rachel for putting that together and just making that like a space where we can all kind of get together and get to know each other.
I agree.
I know my husband was kind of like, hey, are we going out to dinner Friday? I'm like, no, we are not. Okay. I'll go Saturday. Okay. Saturday's cool, but not Friday.
Not Friday. No. You can bring me back something.
Yeah, because really, I'm not going to be cooking. I'm going to be talking to all my friends.
Exactly.
That's amazing. I can't. Stacy, if you could have a dinner, I'm talking about dinner and everything. If you could have dinner with a football figure, who would you like to have a dinner with, and why? What would you talk? What would you talk about, and why?
Oh my gosh! Oh, this is tough. Oh man,
being a Packer fan, would you go with someone else, and like other than Packer?
Like, okay, so I could have dinner, I mean, I think you have to go with Aaron Rodgers if you're talking about Packer fans, right? Would that not be the most like crazy dinner?
Bizarre.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like that could go so many different directions.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with there. Let's go with Aaron. I think that would be just for just conversation's sake, right? I
Yeah.
mean, my goodness.
Okay, I've never. It's not that I don't like Aaron Rodgers because I mean I
Yeah.
don't know the guy. Okay, I don't know him personally, but after I was so mad at Hard Knocks. Okay, because I watched Hard Knocks, I watched the Jets, and I'm like, God damn it, I don't hate Aaron Rodgers anymore. I mean, I started to love him. I'm like, you know what? He's a pretty cool dude. But I'm like, no, I don't want that to happen.
I think and listen, I don't know anything about that man, personally, but I tend to think that he probably is a pretty cool guy. I mean, his teammates all usually love him for the most part, I
Well,
think
he's really good, so
yeah,
that's
he's really
probably.
good. I think he probably does and says some things just to be controversial, and that's I think a lot of people get, rubbed the wrong way by a lot of that, but I think just, at the end of the day, I think he's probably a pretty cool dude.
Hall
Yeah.
of Famer for sure.
Would you think he's gonna come back this year, or he's not gonna be able to play?
I mean, if anybody could do it, I think he would, and I think it would just be so outrageous if he came back. We talked about this the other day, on the pregame show. We are like, gosh, if he comes back this year, every single player that has the same injury is gonna be after him to, like, do ayahuasca, go on, like, a darkness retreat, listen to the dolphin mating sound thing that he's listening to, I don't know, like, it's gonna be instead of, like, the Tom Brady diet, you know how he calls it, like, the TB12, right? It's gonna be like the Aaron Rodgers thing, like, the Aaron Rodgers rehab program, like, that's what they're all gonna be after.
Well, yeah, that are going to be like, dude, why do you have to go back so soon? We're still collecting a paycheck. You don't have to go back that quick.
And Zach Wilson's probably like, "Please come back."
Every Jets fan in the universe is like, please.
Please. Oh my
I'm
god.
not even a Jets fan, and I want him to come back.
No, I was so disappointed, like, that first game, and then, like, it happens, and he's sitting on the ground, and you're like, "No, this isn't real." Like, "No,
Yeah.
come on." Like, the second play? Are you serious?
You know who I thought of immediately was Howard Bender. He's just like this huge Jets fan, and because I listen to his show every day, and I'm just like, oh, poor Howard.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then for the rest of us that had Garrett Wilson everywhere like I did. Oh my gosh, that's what I was most
You can't predict that, though, right? I mean, you just can't predict that. You know what? That would have been probably the highest scoring duo in fantasy football history if that injury did not happen.
Oh, we were robbed. We've got to have he's got to come back and he's got to play next year and we've got to have a do-over.
Oh yeah, I think he's got another year in him.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think if he was going to retire, I don't think he'd be doing all this stuff, about rehabbing it and trying to get back and everything like that. I think he would have just said, "All right, I'm done. I'm going to go host Jeopardy now." Yeah.
One more thing for you. If you could change one thing in the world, what would you change, Stacy?
Like in the whole world?
Ooh.
Yeah, just one thing.
Oh man, like can I say world peace and not sound like cheesy if I could change one thing?
Not if you
Why
mean
not?
it. If that's what you mean.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to get along. Like that world would be God, that's such a hippie answer.
No, it's not. I mean, we need it.
Yeah, I mean if I could change one thing in the world, yeah, I would want everybody to get along. Maybe everybody just needs to play fantasy football and they need to, like go to the fishbowl live drafts, make some friends, and
I know that's like the happiest thing. Like, how could you not enjoy that, right?
This is the answer, Wendi Carla. Like we've hit on it. We've solved like come on, guys.
Go to Ohio. Go to Ohio every single year.
Go to the expo.
Don't we get some kind of Nobel Peace Prize, like multiplied?
Right?
How did we not think about this before? Come on.
Well, Stacy, we're so happy that you joined us tonight. It was so good to get to know you a little bit. You've been, just a wonderful guest, a game changer. You are literally a game changer, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what we wanted you on here for. So we really appreciate it. And can you tell people where they can find you, just in case they don't already know, which most people do, but go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you guys so much for having me. Again, this has just been just an absolute joy, just a blast, and a great way to spend my evening with you girls. Thank you again so much for having me. And so I'm on Twitter at Stacy_Perez83. All of my content is on Fantasy and Frames, on our website, on all of our social media, YouTube channel. That is where you can find me.
Awesome. Thank you. If you're not following this woman, people, you need to go do that.
Yes, definitely.
With the masses that are in the chat tonight, okay?
Thank you.
Carla, you want to let everybody know who's coming on next week?
Definitely. So we have Jamie Fraser coming next week, and we can't wait to have this game changer. It's gonna be amazing. So this is our next guest for next week. Are you gonna come and watch, Stacy, next week?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100% I'm coming to watch.
It's gonna be amazing. She's one of the most supportive fantasy content consumers and part of the Fantasy Alarm family. And we can't wait to see how it's gonna be this next weekend. So thank you, everyone, and thank you for watching tonight's show. And thank you for the man behind the glass, JC. Take us home.
JC.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Thanks again, Stacy. Love you, Carla.
Thank you. Love you too. Thank you. Bye.